At the beginning of the year, each pupil is assessed by their teacher and assigned a reading level based on word and phonic knowledge, comprehension, and fluency. The pupils selected will be emerging readers who have mastered letter names and letter sounds and are now ready to focus on learning to sound out and read simple words. With your support, these pupils will show significant reading gains and an improvement in confidence with the additional practice you provide each week. Making sure pupils are reading at the correct reading level throughout the year is important to their success. If a child struggles consistently with the text and gets frustrated, they're likely to want to give up. The opposite is also true. If a pupil is reading material easily and understands the meaning of what they've read, it's time to move them to more challenging reading material to fend off boredom. To ensure the content of the stories found in our program are properly levelled, IFL follows the book band reading levels used by most schools, with coloured levels that range from pink to purple. This range represents beginning reading texts through to early Year 2 reading texts. Reading at the correct reading level is important for young readers, so how do you know when to move a pupil to the next level? The goal is for your pupil to read to you at his or her instructional level. That means that they should know approximately 80% of the words in a story and can successfully read with your help and support. If the pupil is flying through the text and they understand the meaning of what they have read, then it is time to consider moving them to the next reading level in the program. Teachers may also update pupil reading levels, but if a teacher doesn't move the pupil's reading level after a 30-day period, the system will prompt you to move the student to the next reading level. If you find the material is too difficult for your student, you can always move them back to the previous reading level and then try advancing them again the following week. Reading stories out loud is the most important thing your student will do, as it's where he or she gets a chance to practice. Depending on what level your student is reading at, there are two types of stories to choose from: simple stories and reading stories. Simple stories appear at the lower reading levels and contain short words that the child should know at this reading level using phonic patterns that they have already been taught, like hat and pat. For unconfident readers, this is a good place to start as the text is simple. Remember that for early readers, even very brief words can be challenging to read. When reading simple stories, we want students to gain confidence and practice reading with fluency. Reading fluently means that a child can read without having to stop and sound out words, and as they progress, they can also start to use expression to enliven the story. Reading stories use both words that students should know and also those that they are learning in Year 1 or 2. By reading these stories, students are increasing their word knowledge and practicing newly learned words. At the higher levels, reading stories include very engaging texts covering varied topics, many of which are sponsored by our partners. Some introduce science-related content about the Earth, space exploration, and chemistry.